Welcome to the prelude before the regular video starts. I'm going to start on a new adventure where I have a channel giveaway every month, and that channel giveaway, very briefly, is going to be offered first to my patrons. And if I don't have any patrons that are takers that are interested in it, I'm going to offer it to my channel subscribers with the restriction that it only be subscribers in the 50 states of the United States, simply because it involves mailing a book out of my library that I'm going to give away to someone out there that is interested in reading that book and putting it in their own personal library. And I just simply, with the cost of international mail, I simply can't afford to mail books out of my library around the world. I apologize to my international viewers. I do hope that you'll watch my videos. Each month when I read a book, I'm going to do a brief book review, and then I'm going to offer that book up as a giveaway with the goal of giving away every book that's in my leather library while I'm still with it enough to read that book for a second time. So that's it in a brief. Please listen to the rest of the video and watch and listen to me talk a little bit about a leather library and what it means to me and what you might decide to do with it as you get toward the end of your own leather journey. Welcome to the leather journey. I'm Dex. If you follow this channel, remember to subscribe, ring the bell, and leave an appropriate comment. And thank you for watching my videos. Everyone knows that, or a lot of you know that I was a former college professor, and I love to teach, and really that's the intent of these videos, is to take a part of my life, part of my lifestyle that I've been leading for the last 24 years, almost 2.5 decades, and share some of that knowledge with people that are also interested in similar activities. So one of the things that happens when you become interested in something, it doesn't matter whether it's being a private airplane pilot or riding a bicycle or hiking or whatever, we tend as humans that are literate to purchase and collect books about our special interests. My special interest is leather and BDSM, and I think for those out there that are watching that also are interested in BDSM and leather, you could probably nod your head and go, yeah, I have a few books on that subject, and when I see another book on that subject that interests me, I acquire it and add it to my library. And over time, as you continue your leather journey, you're going to find you develop a small private library. We're going to call it a leather library because it's on leather or BDSM related topics. The very first book that I bought when I came into the lifestyle 24 years ago, we would call it, I think at this point, a classic. It's Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, The Romance and Sexual Sorcery of Sadomasochism by Philip Miller and Molly Devon. I believe the first edition was in 1995. So here we are. I started my journey in 1999, so this book had only been out like 4 years when I picked it up. So why do I introduce this book? Well, one, it's kind of the considered a Bible of BDSM in a sense that it covers a lot of topics. I can't talk this morning. So you could kind of think of it as a BDSM 101 for people that are just starting out in the lifestyle. But really the purpose of this video is to briefly talk about a leather library. And what do you do with that leather library? Well, like most people who collect books, there's some books we see and we buy, and we're very interested in reading them. We read them, and then we put them on the bookshelf and they gather dust, and we may or may not ever pull them back off and read them a second time. There's other books that we buy that are related to our special interests that we might look at. We might read a chapter or two, or we might look up something specific. Like in this book, there's an extensive glossary in the back. There's appendices, so maybe there's a term that I want to know what the definition is. Switch, a person who enjoys taking either side in SM role or physical play, i.e. top or bottom, dom or sub. It can also be a slender, flexible branch from a tree or bush used for corporal punishment. Some of you may remember, I remember as a child being given a butcher knife and told to go cut a switch. So a switch has multiple meanings, but that's an example of how you might use a book in your leather library as a reference or a resource. So this book not only is kind of the Bible of S&M and leather, but it's also a good resource book. I personally think everyone should have this book in their leather library. Well, what do you do with a leather library when you get toward the end of your leather journey? Like most things, after you've passed on, an estate has to settle it or has to handle your affairs, and so you've got a vanilla relative that may or may not know about your interest in leather come into your house after you've passed on to leather heaven, and they go, wow, look at all these books on these taboo and forbidden topics, and I had no idea that Dex was kinky and was into this stuff. And then what do they do with your books? Probably going to end up in a landfill somewhere. So that's really not what I want to have happen to my books. So I got to thinking, well, what can I do with my leather library? What could you do with your leather library? Well, what Dex is going to do with his leather library is this. If you're a patron or subscribe to my Leather Journey channel, I'm actually going to pull a book off my bookshelf every month and reread it. And in some instances, it'll be like I described. It'll be a book I bought on a topic, put it in my library, and I never got around to reading it. Well, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read every one of these. Some of these will be for the second or third time. Some of them will be for the first time. Dust them off, and when I'm done reading them, I'm going to sign the title page that it was in my library, and I'm going to make it a giveaway on my Leather Journey channel with a caveat. My patrons are going to get first dibs on each one of my books. The first book I'm giving away is Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns. I will announce it on my patron site that it's available for the first taker. So you simply write me either on Patreon or write me on FetLife. Do not leave a comment on YouTube because I don't always religiously read all of my comments there. I do follow my FetLife very closely, and of course my Patreon would come directly into my email. So patrons first, they get first dibs. If I don't have a patron that's interested in acquiring the book of the month to be part of their leather library, then I'm going to offer it up on YouTube, and I'll do a little short video every month to introduce the book. I'm also going to do when I introduce the book as a giveaway, I'm going to do a little video book review so people can know a little bit about the book, and it will leave a little bit of a leather book review history, at least of video history, at least of the books that were in my library. So that's it. That's it. Leather library. Dex is going to pass on his books. My goal is to reread or read all of the books in my leather library before I pass on to Leather Heaven, and to pass those on to someone else also interested in that particular book. As always, thanks for watching The Leather Journey.